My latest song recently hit 50,000 streams, so I thought it would be a good time to make a video covering everything I did to promote it. This is Road to Pro Producer, a series where I document my journey creating and releasing music for my artist project. The current goal is to reach 100,000 plays on an independent release. Where we left off, I hit 26,000 combined streams, or 26% of the way to the goal, and I was testing out promoting songs on Discord. Today, I'm going to talk about 5 things I wish I knew before all this started. I also have a small update on a promotion method I tried out too. The number one thing I wish I knew at the start, way back when I had 0 streams on the song: run Instagram ads to promote your song. This was by far the most effective thing I did, and is the sole reason why my song has done these numbers. I put together a really cool chart for this video. I'll sometimes get like questions about the timeline of how everything happened for this song. That's what this is. So looking at the cumulative streams for this release, there's like one major inflection point, and that's right here. It was when the Instagram ads started working. You can really see the change in trajectory of the song. It would not have happened without running Instagram ads. Before I ran ads, which is this section over here, I was getting a daily average of 44 streams on the song. That's Spotify numbers. And I'll talk about later how I was able to get to that. And then this section over here, during when I was running those ads and after, I got a daily average of 386 streams on the song, which is good for 9 times what I was getting earlier. Instagram ads, it might seem a little tricky to set up, but there's tons of tutorials. I watched like 20 videos by this guy, Andrew Southworth, and was able to figure it out. My ad specifically was, I recorded myself saying, if you like Madian or Porter Robinson, you might like my song too. Here's my song Rome. And then I played a clip of the song. And so that was the video I created. I ran that as an ad, and people scrolling on Instagram would see the ad and swipe up, and they'd be taken to a landing page with Apple and Spotify links, and then they'd stream it, save it to their likes in their playlist. The landing page I used was called ToneDen. I used the free version. They call it a smart link because you can link it up with Meta, which is like Facebook, Instagram. So you can get data about those Instagram clicks, and then that can feed back into your ad campaign to like optimize it further. Overall, I could see that on this ad, 2,500 people clicked on the link through the ToneDen Spotify, Apple Music links. So yeah, this ad ran on Instagram stories, in the feed, in Reels. I ran it for 35 days right here. And the only reason I stopped was I spent $500 on the ad. It was delivering good results, but I had to like stop it at some point. So I stopped it there. It ran for 35 days here from September 1st to October 5th. And I actually started running it on day 117 since the song was released. When you run these types of ads on Instagram, you'll get better results if you have a few different variations of the same ad. I highly recommend doing this. Don't skip out on this. It took me like 5 minutes to create alternate versions. One of the versions that I made that ran the best was me saying, if you like Porter Robinson or Madian, you might like my music too. Here's my song Rome. And it was just a 5-second clip with like 14 seconds of the song afterward. So then I found 3 different sections of my song, 3 different sounding sections. So for the 3 different ads, they all had the same intro clip and different music at the end of it to make 3 videos. When you start running ads, there's a learning phase. It'll go through and test however many different versions of the ad you have, and it will pick whichever one performs the best, and then just run the best performing ad from that point on. So that's what I mean by the ad exits the testing phase. The Meta ad manager said, okay, this is the best performing ad. We're just gonna put your whole budget towards this ad. I thought the drop was gonna be the section of the song that performed the best, but it was actually the breakdown, like the verse into the breakdown section that performed the best. So don't skip doing this. Like, you really don't know which one's going to perform the best. So my ad campaign's learning period was about 7 days long, and the 8th day was when it exited the testing phase. It was really obvious when that happened. Meta went crazy with the ads, and a ton of people clicked through to the landing page. Last I checked, you need 50 click-throughs on that landing page in order to exit the learning phase and start doing the same thing. That way they know which ad drives the most clicks and stuff. So on day 8, I really saw the streams come in after, as you can kind of see here. In the advertising backend, I, as someone who is running ads, can choose to send this video of mine to fans of Madian or fans of Porter Robinson. To make this method work, you need to have music that's similar to a big artist, and the artist has to be in Meta's ad manager as like a topic of interest. This should be free to check. I believe you do have to have a Facebook page or an Instagram page and convert it to a business account to do this, but that's free too, I believe. Final part for this ads section. These are some tips that I followed that I would highly recommend. This is my first and only ad campaign, but I believe this is why at least part of it was successful. Have your face in the ad. Like, talk to the camera. If you make it look like content, people are less likely to like automatically recognize it as an ad and scroll past of it. That's just anecdotal evidence, but I've noticed my behavior on Instagram and that's how I react. The second thing is be super quick, to the point, keep it short. Like I talked for 5 seconds in my ad and then played 14 seconds of music after that. I also included captions like baked into the actual video. Some people will scroll on mute, and if they see like the artist name that they really like, they'll stop and like unmute and listen. Make sure it's like vertical video because it's going in the Instagram feed and Instagram Reels. Instagram also crops their videos a little bit, so just stay in the center a bit more than normal. And then this one really sucks. Instagram, at least right now, fades in every single video by like a fraction of a second. So don't cut your video super close to the start of your first word. We won't hear the first word that you say. It'll be cut out by Instagram. The number 2 thing that I wish I knew, it takes time to get into the Discover Weekly or Spotify algorithm, and it's not always an immediate spike in streams when it does. So the whole point of running ads to my song wasn't just to get people to listen and save the song. The big picture here was to get enough people listening to the song in a 28-day window that Spotify recognizes that it's a popular song and starts pushing it out to new listeners. It's one of Spotify's competitive advantages as like a streaming service. They have like really good song recommendation features. The most important one of these is Discover Weekly. It's 30 songs that are new to you in a specific playlist just created for you that fit your music taste, and it's updated every single Monday. It's a really big thing to be placed in someone's Discover Weekly. They're likely to discover your music. So that was the goal when I set up these ads, to get Spotify to start recommending my song. I heard that this will start to happen when the song hits about 9,200 streams in the last 28 days. So this info is from the Andrew Southworth video, We Cracked the Spotify Algorithm. He has a bunch of great videos. The first 2 weeks that I was in Discover Weekly, I was super disappointed. For whatever reason, it didn't place in a lot of people's Discover Weekly and only got 250 streams in 2 weeks. So that's this section right here. But for whatever reason, in the 3rd week, it really took off. And in that 1 week, it had over 2,500 streams. It was kind of unpredictable. It would have spikes every single Monday for some time, and then all of a sudden there was no spikes. So it was really hard to predict when that would really hit. So yeah, I ran the Instagram ads from September 1st to October 5th, which was about 35 days. And I got a ton of new listeners from that. So the Spotify algorithm recognized all these people streaming the song and started recommending the song to new people. My first huge spike was here. October 16th, I had my first big Discover Weekly placement. And then the next day, I had my peak daily streams, which was 1,575. But I also hit 20,000 total streams on Spotify. The next week, I had another big Discover Weekly spike. And then the week after that, I had my 3rd straight big Discover Weekly placement. So yeah, it was pretty obvious when Discover Weekly started hitting. The number 3 thing that I wish I knew when I started: don't spend all your time grinding out TikTok videos. I had zero working knowledge on music promotion going into this. So my idea was, yeah, I'm going to make a few TikTok videos and one of them is going to pop off and I'm going to call it a day. This might work for some people. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I did this for 4 months. I had a few videos pop off, but I got just a little over 5,000 streams during that time. I have a few videos in this Road to Pro Producer series that go over exactly what I was posting. And like I said earlier, I was averaging about 44 streams per day just from posting TikTok content. That was from the time of the release date up until basically I started running ads, when I completely switched strategies. So yeah, 44 streams a day is great if you're starting out. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not an efficient use of your time. Like, in my opinion, do not do this. Do not do this. I mean, TikTok's great. You can post a video, you can post slides with your song on it, and you can get a handful of new listeners that way for like a relatively small amount of work. And for my next song, I'm still going to be posting like promotional TikTok content, but I am going to do like a fraction of what I did. Maybe like a handful of posts. My best post ever was when I said, all right, this is a very niche type of music. Here's a bunch of other songs like it. I put my song in those recommendations, and then I would later like make playlists like that, which did well. And you'll see the one change in direction that happened when I was posting daily TikTok stuff happened when I posted these little playlist music recommendation things. The whole point is to create like a piece of content where your music, your song, is the center of the content. When I started started out posting TikTok stuff, I thought you were supposed to just hop on trends and you'd get views that way, and then people would go check out your music from that. That's not how it works. Don't try that. Don't waste your time doing that. The fourth thing I wish I knew is like alternative ways of music promotion. These are things that, sure, I'm glad I tried them because I know now that it didn't work, or like it doesn't work for my type of music or whatever. But if I could have that time back, I would take it all back, right? Two of these methods that I tried was reaching out to independent playlist curators on Spotify and also trying self-promo on Discord. Over those two, I turned one of them into a video on this channel, the Discord one. Even though it wasn't a success, I know that there's a chance that other people could have success doing this. I also shared like interesting data analysis stuff in that video, so I thought it was still valuable. The other one, the video I scrapped, I tried to get into third-party Spotify playlists, the ones that are not run by the official Spotify playlist curators. So I found and I reached out to a ton of playlists that my song would fit on. I was searching different terms on Google to find Spotify playlists for my genre that were like accepting submissions. I did all that. Felt a little grindy. I gave it like 10 days. And then I came back, checked my Spotify streaming data, see if I had any plays from any new playlists in there. I gave it 10 more days. And I was like, all right, I'll come back, see if they're just a little late to getting their emails or whatever. Still nothing. I had to call it off at some point and scrap the video because it wasn't going to be worth posting here. You can definitely try this one for yourself, for sure. I just know it didn't work for my music and I wish I could have that time back. So I don't think I'll try this one again for my next release. This third-party Spotify playlist method could be a lot more successful if you make music that fits neatly into like a genre or like a subgenre. Mine didn't, so it's harder to market. This whole third-party Spotify playlist thing is why it took so long to put out another video in this series. I kept thinking, oh man, if I could just be added to one of these playlists, I'll have something to talk about in that video. Had to call it off. Fifth thing I wish I knew before I started promoting my music. I wish I could tell my past self that people are going to continue to discover the song and they're going to like it and they're going to restream it. I don't know why, but I just had the feeling that that wasn't going to happen. Like there was times when I would get comments on TikTok that were like really positive. It gave me a little confidence that it would do well, but like you would have those doubts creep in, especially after 4 months right here. 4 months of promoting the song, and all I had to show for it was 5,000 streams. I know 5,000 streams is definitely more than like a lot of people will ever get, and I was thankful for that, but it did feel like there was just going to be no end in sight. Like I was just stuck grinding TikTok. Also, I wish I just knew like, hey, if you set this whole thing up right, you can just chill. Like you don't have to actively manage promoting a song. When people discover the song, they're just going to stream it and like restream it from their likes and their saved playlists. And if enough people are doing that, Spotify just keeps showing it to new people and it's like a snowball, like rolling down a hill. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. The last time that I did something to actively manage this release was a few months ago when I turned off the ad. It just sat there in the algorithm and just kept getting more and more streams. Like I wasn't doing anything here. And eventually it just racked up 50,000 streams after 231 days on December 24th. This is also part of like why I'm making this video right now. I don't see any major developments happening with the promotion of this song that I'll ever need to update on. If it just continues at the current pace, it's gonna hit like 100,000 streams in like a few months. Once I realized that a few months back, I started working on a new song, and not to jinx it, but it's like pretty close to being done. So we'll see what happens with that. Like always with these videos, I want to share my exact stats at the end here. So the overall streams for my song Rome with Spotify has gotten up to 57,080, and then on Apple Music 2,688, which is a total combined streams of 59,768. I don't think I ever shared these exact numbers at the beginning because it was a little embarrassing, but I was putting in tons of work at the start trying to like promote my song every day and didn't see great results. This is what my first month of promoting the song actually looked like. I didn't have a fan base coming into this really. Yeah, you can see on my Spotify like 3 songs that total like 500,000 streams. All of those from songs released under a label from a few years back. I want you to know that none of that translated to this release. After working on this for like a month straight, just grinding out TikTok videos, I had 291 streams on the song. And there was days where I had like 1 stream. I just want you to know that you could do this too. If you really believe you have something amazing on your hands, keep working on it. Like keep promoting it. Don't give it up. Especially if you're building a fan base from the bottom up, it's going to take a long time to actually build it. All right, it is rank tracker time. It's been a while since I did one of these. I have like a cool ranking system for this that I set up at the beginning of this series. I made Road to Pro Producer ranks. It's really just for artists. I don't know why I keep calling myself a producer. I'm an artist. So yeah, we're just tracking the Spotify monthly listeners. So since the last video, the peak monthly listeners that I had on Spotify was 6,482. That was back on November 12th. Yeah, I wanted to include this one on here just because it was like a new record, broke 5,000 and broke 6,000 doing that as well. A gold 3 rank, which is what this one is. But if we're talking current, 3,414. That number is down from the peak, obviously. I mean, we're almost 2 months out from the song's peak. People like myself, I do this. They will just stream from their likes sometimes. And that just means the more recent your song has been added to their likes, the more streams it's going to get. And it's just always going to lower over time. So yeah, this is the cumulative streams for Rome on Spotify. Release date, day 1. The best TikTok video here, it can show up on the graph. It was day 34 of posting TikToks. And then day 115, I got 5,000 streams. And then I started running the Instagram ads and stopped doing daily TikTok promo on September 1st, which was day 117 of the release. And then from that, it was an obvious change in direction as the ad exited the learning phase, eventually hit 10K streams. Once it started getting all of these new listeners from the ad, Spotify picked it up. And it was in the Spotify algorithm / Discover Weekly. It still is in here. I just cut it off at Jan 8th for this video. That's been huge. That's a huge bump right here. The first Discover Weekly placement, and then the second, the third, and then the fourth big spike happened just randomly on December 4th, day 211. It just barely started getting in the Spotify algorithm when I was running the ads. It took a long time, over a month, for it to be picked up by the Spotify algorithm from the day I started running the ads. Like, this is 35 days right here, and it was not in the algorithm until these last 2, I think. And then even then, this was barely getting algorithm plays until like randomly it started getting plays on the 3rd week it was in. So yeah, that's the timeline thus far. That's going to be it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.